All right, a new theory just dropped. I believe Dodrio is connected to the legendary Kanto bird Pokemon. All right, there's a couple different reference or example pieces of evidence that I'd like to go over today. I think the first thing, obviously, is in Kanto, in Pokemon Red, Blue, and Yellow, right? The evil team, Team Rocket, is obsessed. Mostly Giovanni, right? Is obsessed with cloning. I feel like that is we can all agree on that, right? Cloning is kind of like the overarching, I guess, plot point. That is the evil deed. That is the objective of Team Rocket. And I think what's really cool about Kanto is that there is a lot of evidence in Easter eggs. There's a lot of Pokemon that feel like they were kind of born out of this concept that had been circulating, or you could imagine was circulating when these games were being developed, right? We have theories like Ditto being a failed clone of Mew, Mewtwo literally being a successful clone of Mew, and we have all these like creepypasta theories about like, Cubone being the child of Kangaskhan, etc. Right? We all accept these. There's so many of these, and we accept them all. And I feel like one that maybe I'd like to add to the pantheon of crazy Pokemon Gen 1 Pokemon theories is that Dodrio is a failed clone of the legendary birds. So I think I'm trying to think about I guess I don't really know what the first thing that really caught my eye and had me starting to think about this. But let's start with the dex entry of Dodrio, right? Or I guess how about this? How about I describe what Dodrio is? So you've got Doduo, the twin bird Pokemon. It's a normal and flying type. It's this little I feel like to me it looks like an ostrich or something. It's got the body of a flightless bird. But it's got 2 heads and it's cute. Then it evolves and it gets 3 heads. But I want to start with this first dex entry. Let's see. It was actually in BDSP, but I think the BDSP took it from another. Yeah, here's one from Fire Red. This is a dex entry from Fire Red. An odd species that is rarely found. The 3 heads respectively represent joy, sadness, and anger. That's so cool. Leaf Green uses its 3 brains to execute complex plans. While 2 heads sleep, 1 head is said to stay awake. And then where's the one that I saw right before I pressed record? Hold on. Okay, this is from Black and White. When Doduo evolves into this odd breed, one of its heads split into 2. It runs at nearly 40 miles per hour, right? And I think there's a couple things here we could unpack. But the thing that I'm kind of paying attention to is the idea that like even scientists, even professors, people in the Pokemon world are describing Dodrio as odd, right? They're saying this creature is weird and probably shouldn't exist. It is interesting to think that like maybe I guess Doduo could be the failed clone, but then it because of all of the powerful DNA that it has in its body, it does evolve into Dodrio, gaining the 3 heads. But still, these Pokemon are just kind of like they're at odds with each other. It's like they shouldn't even exist, There's another one here. Yeah, this is from Alpha Sapphire. Apparently, the heads aren't the only body parts that Dodrio has 3 of. Interesting. It says that it has 3 sets of hearts, lungs, as well. It has 3 sets of hearts and lungs as well, so it is capable of running long distances without rest. Just kind of crazy, right? So this isn't just a Pokemon with 3 heads, but these are 3 species. These are 3 creatures attached together, right? These are 3 separate souls, creatures, right, with lungs and hearts and brains. They can live on their own. They're 3 entities, but they are attached to the same body, right? Okay, Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, You guys know these are pretty iconic. 3 elemental birds: ice, electric, and fire. They roam the region in Kanto. Well, they don't they don't roam literally mechanically in Kanto. They roam in Sinnoh, and in X and Y. But they live in Kanto, right? These are mythical beings in the Kanto region. It would make sense, just like how Team Rocket and Giovanni were able to capture Mew to clone it into Mewtwo. It would make sense that, what's easier to capture? Actually, this is kind of crazy. Yeah, this is actually, it's insane. It would make sense if Team Rocket is able to capture Mew, the elusive mythical Pokemon, right, that no one has ever been able to find in-game through normal methods, right? Team Rocket's able to capture that thing, obtain it, clone it into Mewtwo, into something that's even more powerful. Don't you think that they would also be able to, capture Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, right? I think that would be super easy for them to be able to do that, and then these Pokemon break free eventually or whatever, right? But again, these are cloned. I'm imagining that Dodrio is a failure in the eyes of Team Rocket, and just like anything else, right? Another popular headcanon that people believe in is that Grimer is the pollution, or I don't even know. That's not even like speculation and headcanon. Grimer is pollution that has become sentient. I think what we've seen time and time again in the Pokemon world is that man-made devices, wastes, creatures, right, can find their way into the wild and then self-sustain, repopulate, or I guess populate, just to, from the get-go. Something that is kind of, all right, a piece of evidence that I love so much that just feels great to me because you can feel it in the game is that Dodrio learns the move Tri-Attack. Let's go down to the moves here. Where are the moves? Did I miss it? Yeah, so Dodrio learns the move Tri-Attack as an evolution, or just as a, it just learns the move Tri-Attack. It doesn't need to be taught it with a TM or anything. It just learns the move Tri-Attack. And yes, there are a lot of Pokemon that learn Tri-Attack. I believe, let's actually check this out. Okay, it seems like a lot of Pokemon can learn Tri-Attack. Most of these Pokemon are either man-made or they literally have 3 heads. Weirdly, Togekiss can learn it on level up. That's kind of interesting to me. That actually doesn't make sense. Porygon Z makes sense. It's got, it's man-made. Probopass has 3 heads. Uxie, Mesprit, Azelf are they're legendary. They get a pass. Yeah, for the most part, Indeedee gets it. Okay, that's kind of weird. For the most part, the only Pokemon that get Tri-Attack have 3 heads, right? Because it's triple attack, right? But I think what is, all of these Pokemon learn Tri-Attack, but they all come after Generation 1. And in Generation 1, I feel like we kind of have to kind of hone our scope in on just Generation 1 because that's when Dodrio debuted. But Tri-Attack is so cool because it literally uses, let's go back to the Tri-Attack page. It literally uses electric, fire, and ice energy from the 3 heads to launch off at the opponent in an attack. And it's not just visual, right? Because the side effect of Tri-Attack is that you could get a paralysis, a burn, or a freeze. And say it with me, chat. What are the legendary bird Pokemon of Kanto? Articuno, the freeze Pokemon, Zapdos, the electric Pokemon, and Moltres, the flame Pokemon. I would imagine that what I'm imagining is that Dodrio was created with the idea that they were a failed clone of these legendary bird Pokemon. Tri-Attack was a move given to it, and then later on, Tri-Attack was applied and given to Dugtrio, and I think Magneton also gets it because those all have 3 heads. But this is my theory, and I think even visually, there's also evidence to say let's see here. Like these 3 Pokemon, they have beaks that to me look like Zapdos. I think there's a lot of similarities to Zapdos, to be quite honest. But Dodrio and Zapdos have the long beak, and Zapdos' Galarian form literally becomes like a flightless bird, like an ostrich. So there is actually some pretty cool commonalities there. I think its tail being like red with the 3 feathers, that kind of looks like Articuno. Articuno has a much longer tail, but it only has the 3 feathers. There was something else here. Dodrio has like 2 feathers on its head, on each of the heads. Zapdos has a lot of feathers, but it does have 2 prominent feathers in the middle. And let's see what else. And then the talons are kind of, I think the talons are actually pretty, how would you say? Yeah, the talons are pretty like just kind of like simple, normal. There's nothing special about the talons. I think you could apply it to anything. But maybe, I guess, okay, this is actually, no, let me button it up right here. I think this is what it is, right? All 3 of these, Dodrio, right, has the souls, the bodies, the heart, lung, and minds of, and it has those anatomies of Articuno, Zapdos, and Moltres, but I think the body took form. The body that they share, right? The body, like the beak, the head, the flightless nature of it is actually mostly resembling Zapdos, and a little bit more specifically Galarian Zapdos. Because Galarian Zapdos is a flightless bird that runs around. And that's actually insane. It has Galarian Zapdos has the long beak, which I've actually never noticed until right now. And it has the extended neck, which base Zapdos does not have. Yeah, I'm sold. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. I think this is there any evidence you think I missed? I wanted to stretch this a little bit, but I didn't totally believe it. When you do get Dodrio or Doduo in Kanto, you get it right outside of Celadon City, which is where one of your first encounters with Team Rocket, or that's where Team Rocket's hideout is. So maybe they were being released in the wild in Celadon. I'm not totally sure. Let me know what you guys think. Is there any more evidence that maybe I missed? I mean, this thing is literally called the triple bird, right? It is 3 birds. When you say 3 birds, what do you think about? You think about the Kanto birds. I think this is like done and dusted, but you guys let me know. Appreciate you watching. I took a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm back. Yeah, if you want to support, I did just open up memberships. If you want to support this channel individually, that is an option. I'll see you guys soon. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe.